Hey everyone, it's your favorite YouTube channel here. Driving is something most of us do every day. But it's not just hopping into a metal box and cruising. We're piloting machines that weigh thousands of pounds, capable of causing serious damage. In this series, we'll explore top mistakes drivers make that lead to accidents. So buckle up, both literally and metaphorically, because this is a journey we need to take together. Our phones are like extensions of ourselves. They're our maps, music players, lifelines, but behind the wheel, they're dangerous distractions. Even a split-second glance can have disastrous consequences. Our brains aren't wired to multitask while driving. Reaction times plummet when distracted by phones. So what can we do to combat this? How do we break free from the siren song of our smartphones? Well, firstly, acknowledge the power those devices hold over us. It's not weak to admit that you struggle with phone addiction. It's a widespread issue. Next, make a conscious effort to put your phone away before you even start the car. Toss it in the glove compartment, bury it in your bag, silence those tempting notifications. Whatever it takes to create that physical and mental distance. And if you absolutely use your phone while driving for emergencies or navigation, invest in a hands-free device. Remember, driving is a privilege, not a right. It demands our undivided attention, and that means putting our phones in their place, literally. Alright, let's talk about something incredibly serious. Driving under the influence. We've all heard the warnings, seen the PSAs, maybe even known someone affected by drunk driving. But sometimes it feels like those messages lose their impact, fading into background noise. We tell ourselves it's just a couple of drinks or I know my limits. But the truth is, alcohol impairs our judgment, and often we're not the best judge of our own sobriety. We think we're in control, that we can handle our liquor, but the reality is far more dangerous. Even a small amount of alcohol can slow down our reaction times, blur our vision, and impair our decision-making abilities. And it's not just alcohol we're talking about here. Driving under the influence of drugs, whether they're prescription medications or illegal substances, is just as dangerous, if not more so. These substances can have unpredictable effects on our bodies and minds, making it impossible to gauge our ability to drive safely. So, what's the solution? It's simple, really. Don't drink and drive, and when I say don't drink and drive, I mean don't even have one for the road. It's not worth the risk, not to yourself and not to anyone else on the road. Plan ahead. If you know you're going to be drinking, designate a driver, call a taxi or ride-sharing service, or crash at a friend's place. And hey, if you see someone who's had too much to drink about to get behind the wheel, do the right thing. Take their keys away. So you're late, I get it. We've all been there, right? Speeding seems like the answer, but it creates an illusion of saving time. The risks are huge. Weather, obstacles, other drivers. It's dangerous, not just for us, but for everyone on the road. Speeding increases accident severity. Stay safe, drive smart. Now I know what you might be thinking. John, you're probably saying sometimes you need to speed a little, to merge onto a highway, for example. And you're right. There are times when adjusting your speed is necessary, but it's crucial to remember that the key word here is adjusting. Matching the flow of traffic when done safely and within reasonable limits is different from consistently pushing the boundaries of speed limits. One is about adapting to the road, the other is about imposing our will on it. And that's rarely a recipe for a safe journey. So the next time you're tempted to put the pedal to the metal, remember that life isn't fast and furious. There's no dramatic music playing, no slow-motion chase scene, just the very real possibility of serious consequences. Instead, try embracing the journey, leave a little early, listen to a good podcast, and remember, arriving safely is always more important than arriving quickly. We all have those days, right? The ones where sleep feels like a distant memory and the only things keeping us upright are sheer willpower and an alarming amount of caffeine. But here's the thing, as much as we rely on caffeine to power through our days, it's not a magic elixir. Driving drowsy might not seem as inherently dangerous as, say, driving under the influence, but the truth is, it can be just as deadly. Fatigue impairs our judgment, slows our reaction times, and decreases our awareness, essentially turning even the most experienced driver into a hazard on wheels. Think about it. When we're tired, our minds wander. We miss crucial details, misjudge distances, and make poor decisions. And behind the wheel, even the smallest lapse in concentration can have devastating consequences. It's like trying to read a book when you're exhausted. The words blur, your eyelids feel heavy, and comprehension becomes a distant dream. Now, imagine trying to navigate the complexities of traffic in that same state of mind. How do we combat drowsiness on the road? Prioritize sleep. Establish a regular sleep schedule. If drowsy, pull over for a quick nap or stretch. Rest stops exist to help drivers recharge. Listen to your body, take a break, and arrive safely. A delayed arrival is better than no arrival. We've all seen them, those drivers who treat the road like their own personal Thunderdome, weaving in and out of traffic, tailgating anyone near their bumper, and honking at the slightest provocation. It's aggressive driving, and it's dangerous. A cocktail of impatience and frustration disregarding everyone's safety, fueled by the illusion of anonymity, but aggressive driving achieves nothing positive. It increases the risk of accidents, endangering everyone. Anger clouds judgment, making us impulsive. On the road, unexpected situations are the norm. How do we combat the urge to unleash our inner road warrior? Start with a shift in perspective. Everyone on the road has their own story. See driving as a shared experience. Practice patience, courtesy, and kindness. A little kindness can diffuse tension. Take a deep breath and de-escalate. Safety should always be your priority. The road is not a battleground. Choose calmness over chaos. So we've talked about phones, right? And how they're basically little black holes of distraction, sucking away our attention spans and any hope of parallel parking. But the truth is, phones are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to distractions while driving. I mean, think about it. How many times have you seen someone scarfing down a burger, applying makeup, or, dare I say it, digging for that lost French fry while driving? It's like they're auditioning for a reality show called Who Can Be the Most Distracted Driver. Spoiler alert, nobody wins in that scenario. The problem is our brains just aren't wired for multitasking, especially when one of those tasks involves piloting a 2-ton hunk of metal at high speeds. Every second your attention is diverted from the road, you're essentially driving blind. And that, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. You know, it's kind of ironic, isn't it? We spend so much time trying to be more efficient, squeezing every last drop out of every minute. But then, we get behind the wheel and suddenly doing two things at once seems like a good idea. But here's the thing, driving is serious business. It demands our full attention, our undivided focus. It's not just about following the rules. It's about being present, being aware of our surroundings, anticipating potential hazards before they become real problems. And that's really hard to do when we're juggling a sandwich and a phone call while simultaneously trying to navigate rush hour traffic. It's like trying to write a novel while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. Technically possible, but probably not going to end well. So let's make a pact, you and I, to prioritize focus behind the wheel. Let's treat driving with the respect it deserves, giving it our full attention and nothing less. Because at the end of the day, arriving safely is the only destination that truly matters. Buckling up is like driving 101. The chime reminds you every time you start the engine, it's 2023. We've got self-driving cars. In a crash, your body becomes a projectile, so please buckle up every time. Look, I get it. Nobody likes being told what to do, and for some people, the idea of being strapped into a car just feels constricting, like it infringes on their freedom. But here's the thing. True freedom comes from making responsible choices. Choices that protect not just ourselves, but also those around us. Wearing a seatbelt isn't just about following the law, it's about taking responsibility for our own safety and the safety of our passengers. It's about acknowledging that accidents happen, and when they do, we want to give ourselves the best possible chance of survival. Think about it this way. Would you send your child out into the world without a helmet on their head? Of course not. So why treat your own life with any less care? Buckling up takes 2 seconds. and it could literally be the difference between life and death. Traffic signals, they're everywhere, right? Red lights, green lights, yellow lights blinking in that way that makes you question your entire existence. They can be annoying, they can be inconvenient, but they exist for a reason. Think of traffic signals as the language of the road. They're how we communicate with each other, ensuring a smooth and hopefully safe flow of traffic. Imagine if everyone just decided to ignore traffic lights and drive however they pleased. It would be absolute chaos. But here's the thing. Ignoring traffic signals isn't just about breaking the law or causing inconvenience, it's about putting lives at risk. Every time you run a red light, blow through a stop sign, or decide that yield sign doesn't really apply to you, you're gambling with your life and the lives of others. And the stakes are high. We're talking about potential collisions, serious injuries, and in the worst-case scenario, fatalities. So, the next time you're tempted to shave a few seconds off your commute by ignoring a traffic signal, remember, it's not worth the risk. You know, in the grand scheme of things, waiting at a red light for a minute or two isn't really that big of a deal. Sure, it can be frustrating, especially when you're running late or you just really need to pee. But is it really worth risking your life for? We live in a world obsessed with speed and efficiency where every second feels precious. But sometimes we need to slow down, take a breath, and remember that arriving safely is more important than arriving quickly. And that's what traffic signals are all about. They're about creating order out of potential chaos, ensuring that everyone has a fair chance to get where they're going without ending up in a mangled heap of metal. So the next time you're behind the wheel, let's all make a conscious effort to respect traffic signals. Let's be patient, be courteous, and remember that we're all just trying to navigate this crazy thing called life together. And the best way to do that is by following the rules of the road. So you're cruising along, maybe late for something important. You find yourself too close to the bumper ahead. You think you're in control, but it's an illusion. Tailgating puts your fate in the hands of the driver ahead. Even the best drivers face unexpected situations. Next time remember, it's not just your skills, it's your luck. Tailgating doesn't just endanger you and the driver in front of you, it has a ripple effect. Think about it. When you tailgate, you force the driver ahead to be more cautious, maybe even brake unnecessarily, which can then cause a chain reaction, slowing down traffic for everyone. And let's not forget about the psychological impact. Tailgating can be incredibly stressful for the driver being followed. It can lead to road rage, aggressive driving, and even more accidents. It's like that saying goes, hurt people, or in this case, stressed drivers, stress drivers. Plus, if an accident does occur, and you're the one doing the tailgating, you're almost guaranteed to be found at fault. That means insurance headaches, potential legal trouble, and let's be honest, nobody wants to deal with that. So for everyone's sake, maintain a safe following distance. It's not just about being a good driver, it's about being a considerate human being. And trust me, the world could use a little more consideration on the roads. Car maintenance can be expensive, but ignoring the check engine light is risky. It's like ignoring a persistent cough. It could be serious. Regular maintenance prevents major costly problems. Ignoring it can lead to safety hazards. Pay attention to dashboard lights and strange noises. Your wallet and well-being will thank you. Now, beyond the basics, there are a few other often overlooked maintenance tasks that can make a huge difference in your car's safety and longevity. For example, how often do you check your tire pressure? Underinflated tires can lead to blowouts, while overinflated tires can reduce traction and increase your stopping distance. And speaking of tires, don't forget about those windshield wipers. Driving with streaky wipers in a downpour is like trying to navigate a maze blindfolded. It's just asking for trouble. Replace them regularly and make sure your windshield wiper fluid is topped off. Finally, familiarize yourself with your car's owner's manual. I know it's like the most boring novel ever written, but it's actually full of important information about your specific vehicle's maintenance needs. Think of it as the ultimate guide to keeping your car happy, healthy, and out of the repair shop. Remember, a well-maintained car is a safer car, for you, your passengers, and everyone else on the road. So there you have it, folks, the top mistakes to avoid while driving. From the dangers of distracted driving and speeding to the importance of vehicle maintenance and following traffic laws, we've covered a lot of ground today. Remember, driving is a privilege, not a right, and it comes with a huge responsibility to ourselves and others on the road. By being aware of these common mistakes and making a conscious effort to avoid them, we can all contribute to safer roads and a more enjoyable driving experience. If you found this video helpful, please share it with your friend's family and that one friend who always seems to be texting at red lights. Let's spread the word about safe driving and make our roads a little less chaotic, one responsible driver at a time. And don't forget to subscribe for more informative videos on everything from car maintenance to travel tips. Until next time, stay safe, drive smart, and keep those wheels turning.